Guys, I've been a little bit of a naughty filmmaker. I haven't been using variable ND filters for a long time, until now. Now, before I go into why I haven't been using a variable ND filter for a long time, I thought I'd explain to you guys who don't even know what this thing is. Basically, a variable ND filter is a filter that you screw onto your lens that allows you to control the amount of light coming into your sensor. Now, you might wonder, why would you ever want to do that? Isn't the more light, the better? And yeah, that's true, light is always important, but sometimes you want to shoot at really shallow depths of field with high f-stops like 1.4 or 1.8, and the problem is that you get too much light, which means then you have to crank up the shutter really high and you don't get any more of that cinematic motion blur. So basically, the use for a variable ND filter when you're shooting video is to control the amount of light coming into the sensor in order for you to always double your shutter. So if you're shooting at 50 frames per second, you should shoot at 100 shutter, or if you're shooting at 25 frames per second, you should shoot at 50 shutter, or if you're doing 120 frames per second, you should have a shutter speed of 240 at least in order to get that nice motion blur. So that's where variable ND filters come into play. And let me quickly show what it looks like when you have a really high shutter speed with no motion blur, and then let me show you what it looks like when you're doubling the shutter in order to get that nice motion blur. All right, so this is the motion blur at 1/1250th of a second. See how my hands, you can see them very defined with no motion blur. Now we're gonna put the shutter down a little bit more just so you can see the difference again. Okay, so now this is 1/50th of a shutter. See the motion blur in the hands? That's why you need a variable ND filter, for you to control your shutter speed in order to get that nice cinematic motion blur. I think I stop waving now because my hands are getting really cold out here in the snow. Now, as much as I enjoy that nice cinematic motion blur when I'm shooting video, the problem with me and using variable ND filters has been the fact that I'm a hybrid shooter. So I'm often shooting both photo and video whenever I'm at a shoot. And we all know the problem when it comes to variable ND filters and being a hybrid shooter. You gotta put it on, screw it on, then when you're done, you gotta take it off, screw it off, screw it on, screw it off. And it just gets really taxing when you're on a shoot. And that's why I haven't been using variable ND filters very much anymore. That is, until recently, this company called Ulanzi sent me this really amazing thing that will save the day for many of you guys, and that's the rapid filter mount. Let me show you how this works, and then I'll show you how this thing is gonna be a game changer for you when it comes to using variable ND filters. All right, so the way that the Ulanzi rapid filter mount works is, it's kind of like similar to the eyeglasses, where you attach this to the lens and then you have your filter up here and you can just lift off and take off and put it back on. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna first attach the variable ND filter to one side of the filter mount. So now the filter mount is attached here, and you can already kind of understand how it's gonna go. So this is gonna go on my lens, and then when I wanna use it, I'm just gonna put it on the lens, and then when I'm done and I wanna shoot photos, I can just pop it off like that. I'm gonna actually screw this onto this lens now, and I'll show you how it looks and how it works. All right, I'm gonna screw this on here. Don't get scared. You might hear some frightening noises. Oh, there we go, now it's tight. Have you ever noticed that when it's cold out, everything feels so much harder to do? My hands are freezing right now. But so basically right now, the filter mount is above, and now when I want to use it, I can just put it down. Of course, it's really dark right now because I haven't adjusted my settings. And then when I'm done with the filter, just lift it up and start shooting photos. It's really that simple, but this is huge game-changing tool for me because I was really frustrated using variable ND filters, just having to screw it on off, screw it off, especially in the winter time. Sometimes I noticed that my variable ND filter just got stuck to the lens because of the cold, and then I was just stuck with it. I couldn't take it off to shoot photos, whereas this, there's no chance of it freezing in the cold. You can just literally take it off and take it on. I just want to say thanks to the guys at Lanzi. It's awesome when people are creating great tools to help us as photographers and filmmakers do a better job. And sometimes it can be just as simple as this filter mount bracket that you can add to your lens so that you can easily use variable ND filters. And if you're interested in this product, I'll make sure to link it below so you guys can get it yourself. I think it was actually a very affordable price, but it's definitely worth it because it'll help you so much when you want to shoot with variable ND filters and then shoot photos. All right, it is freezing outside. Winter has finally arrived here in Finland. I'm gonna quickly get the shots that I need still for today, and then I go warm up inside because it is cold outside. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And for all of you guys who have been a longer time part of this community, I just want to say thank you so much. It's awesome to have you guys a part of the ride. All right, have a fantastic day.